Hi guys! So a couple of days ago I shared a story on my Instagram about not feeling very competent at my work. Some of you may know, some of you may not, that I am doing my PhD at the institute. I'm doing my PhD in physical chemistry, and to be honest, I never felt like chemistry is something that really interests me. It is an interesting science, and I actually enjoy kind of making my brain work and exercising it, but I don't think that it is something that I want to do in the future, or at least not pure academical sciences. And so it leads to me feeling inferior to my colleagues a lot of the times. And although I have been quite successful in my studies, a lot of times I feel like I am misplaced or like I am a fraud, and if people only knew about how actually incompetent and stupid I am, they would never even allow me to be in the institute or do anything. And these feelings really bother me sometimes because they stand in the way of me being productive, and I spend a lot of time thinking about how I shouldn't be here and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people go through similar stuff, and I'm pretty sure that at some point everyone had this kind of thoughts. But if you have them really often, and if you struggle with getting your stuff done because of them, probably you suffer with something that is called imposter syndrome, which was brought up to my attention by one of my friends after me posting that story on Instagram. The imposter syndrome is basically feeling inadequate or a fraud, and it's also about thinking that you are a fake, and if other people found out who you really are, they would hate you or not trust you. So it's being scared of other people finding out the truth about you and feeling like you are trying to fool everyone and mislead everyone when actually you are not, which is basically just inability to internalize your success. So you can own your mistakes, but if you do something that really deserves praise, or if you are really successful at something, you just cannot stand thinking that it was actually something to do with you. And I have read a lot about it in the last couple of days. I think that in many cases it is caused by low self-esteem and just the inability to see that you are actually capable of something good. But in many cases it can be caused by, for example, your parents constantly praising you in the childhood, and then you either not living up to their expectations, or maybe not being praised as much as an adult, and now kind of you feel that if you are not being constantly praised, that means that you are a loser or a failure. In some cases it is a blown up self-esteem presenting itself in this way. So I think that there are many causes to the imposter syndrome, but the result is pretty much the same in every case. And I came up with some solutions if you suffer with it, but I think that they are mostly targeted to people like me who suffer with really low self-esteem. But I think that anyone can use them to kind of increase their productivity and not spend too much time worrying about if they deserve the success that they have or not. So first of all, that friend of mine who told me about the imposter syndrome actually taught me one exercise that she follows herself, and I found it to be really easy to do and really funny. So especially for the people who struggle with mental health, or just for anyone who suffers at their workplace and their mental stability or well-being is compromised by being at a workplace, you need to see life in general and being in a workplace in particular as being in a retreat. Like, imagine you are in a hospital or in a retreat, and you are working on actually taking care of yourself, and this is your main task. So you have to be the best at self-care, at going to bed at the right time, self-expression, and healthy ways of releasing your emotions and all that good stuff. So see your self-care as your primary function, and then everything else, like your job or your hobby and everything that you do besides that, just see it as a game that you play in this retreat. So it's like your daily activity, but nothing really depends on that. So your main business is to be happy and healthy and take care of yourself. And I think that this might seem extreme to some people, but for people who put self-care to the last place of their priority list, this might actually be quite helpful. And I intend to actually practice that more in the future. Some of the other tips that I might give for people who suffer the imposter syndrome or just feeling inadequate at their workplace or study are not comparing yourself to everyone or anyone, because everybody is at a different place, everybody starts differently, and you have different capabilities, different talents. In general, it is very unfair to compare people based on just one feature. And my therapist also tells me that when you compare yourself to even yourself before, it is actually not really valid, because your circumstances change all the time. For example, when you are depressed, it is really an accomplishment for you to even get out of bed or do your makeup and go out to work. And if you are not as productive as the other person who doesn't suffer depression, it's not fair to compare you two, because for you, you already are a hero for just being there, and for the other person, they have no problem doing their 9-to-5 work day and then going for a run afterwards and being awesome. And you know, like, everyone has it differently, so don't compare yourself to even yourself before, because circumstances are different. And just know your capabilities and try to do your best in the situation that you are in right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Next thing is collecting every single piece of praise that you get. You can like screenshot the messages, or you can write down the nice things that people say to you, and you can go through it in the times that you feel completely worthless and stupid and ugly and I don't know. So I don't really do it as much. I sometimes screenshot the nice messages from you guys or from my friends, and then when I feel really low, I go through them. But I do not have the habit of doing this, but just from sporadically doing this thing, I can tell you that it increases your self-esteem a great deal when you are feeling down, because you feel like, well, other people feel this about me, maybe they are right in something. When I used to feel completely inadequate at my workplace, and I felt that I was taking someone else's place and that I'm being paid for nothing and that I'm just wasting the money of the state or of the institute, I started telling myself those affirmations. I never even knew about affirmations back then, I think, but I was just telling myself constantly that you are all right, you deserve to be here, you're safe, you're an adult, you are in control of your own life, you are not worse than everyone else, you are absolutely enough, and stuff like that. So just choose the positive affirmations that resonate with you and repeat them to yourself as often as you can, so that they make you feel better, because our brain is quite easy to trick. And if you can trick it into thinking all these things by repeating them a million times, then it's worth a shot, I promise you. Another tip is to realize that no one actually knows what they're doing, and we are all just children pretending to be adults. We are all at some point of our lives are just, where the heck am I and what the heck am I doing with my life, and I have no idea what I'm doing, you know, like at some point of their lives, everyone is just pretending that they have it all together, but they really don't. And the more I talk to people about it, the more I realize that no one really has it together and no one has a clue. We are all just like pretending to be so well composed and stuff, but actually no one really is. Work on accepting that you had to do something with your success. If you get an award, or if you succeed in something, if you get good results, just accept that you actually had to do something with it, even if it was a matter of luck, even if someone helped you, even if you still were there to do what you did. And so please just be aware that your success required some contribution on your part, so do not diminish that, please, please, please. What's also very important is to find someone who you can talk to and just say, I feel like such a failure, or I feel like such a fraud. And even just talking about it to someone who you can trust can help you a great deal, and this person will probably tell you that either they feel this way sometimes as well, or they will support you and tell you that you are not a fraud and that everyone likes you and stuff like that. So if you find a person in your workplace or in your family or among your friends who you can just share these feelings with and who will make you look or feel better, please don't hesitate to share, because as I said, everyone at some point of their lives is lost, and we all are just pretending to know what we are doing when actually we do not. So yeah, there is that. And the last thing is, try to reduce the amount of self-pity and instead praise yourself for even the small accomplishments. So if you learn to sort of accept the smallest things, like you did something good, like you wrote a page for your paper at some deadline or whatever it is, I don't know what your work is, or if you are studying, if like, I don't know, you wrote a test good or something like that. Just praise yourself for the little things, reward yourself for the little things, and learn to accept praise as well as criticism, because I think that it's very important. If you are good at accepting criticism, I think that it's awesome, because then it helps you grow and it helps you work on your flaws and becoming better. But if you can't accept praise, it's also very important, because remembering this moment and just knowing that you did something awesome that one day will help you through the hard times when nothing is going right or when you are at your lowest. And I think that it's very important to keep these moments in our memory. On this note, I will end this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I love you very, very much. Be nice humans, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.